All right, fastest 15 minutes on the internet, fastest 15 minutes in social media. My name is Judson Powell. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit all the buttons for me, but most of all, hit the love button. All right? All right. Want to talk about something that's going on right now. I'll get to some other stuff later, but basically, right now in this video, I want to talk about what's going on and what we need to be doing as a people. We need to get out of the history and get out of the historical stuff. I mean, it's all great, well and fine, but after you learn it, then you have to put it to use. So knowledge without wisdom is just knowledge. You know, a lot of people have knowledge, but a lot of people don't have wisdom. And wisdom is very important. Why? Because wisdom is what you do with the knowledge. It's like you can get the knowledge, but if you don't know how to use it, if you don't have wisdom, then I mean it's basically a waste of time. So now that we know all the stuff that has happened to us and everything, we need to go and systematically fight situations that need our attention. So one of the things is, for example, if you read the news, one of the things that's going on right now is what? Is the fact of in Georgia, and so I urge all my Georgia peeps and all the people, that are near Georgia or whatever, or if you got relatives in Georgia or whoever you got, but they need to be aware of what is going on. The Republicans right now are trying to pass laws that are voter suppressive, okay? And that's basically what's happening. Now, if we don't fight these voter suppression laws and they get passed and they get put into law, then next thing you got to do is they're going to be fought in court because basically on the face of it, putting on my lawyer cap, on the face of it, it seems like most of this stuff is unconstitutional. I mean, how is it illegal, or how can you make it illegal to give somebody standing in line water? Like that's one of the laws they want to enact, which is ridiculous. But what it is basically made in order to keep you from voting, or making voting easy for you. All right. So we need to understand that's what's going on. Other things that need to be done. We need to get rid of the electoral college. That's another thing. The electoral college needs to go. It's got to go, got to go, got to go. It needs to go. There's no reason for it. We are not in the same situation we were in the 1700s. It's just not the same. It's not the same thing. So certain things need to be done away with. We also need term limits for the Supreme Court. Nobody should have a lifetime appointment, and that means that for their lifetime, which is a very arbitrary thing, for their lifetime, then they get to vote a certain way and get to enact laws a certain way, or get to interpret laws in a certain way or manner. And it's not good because a lot of things are going to go down the pike coming up soon. So we need to definitely get rid of that. And then the other thing is all of these people who are voting against the people. So for example, everybody that voted against those the $15 minimum wage. That's another thing. We need to push this $15 minimum wage. It's important. The minimum wage is $7.25, and it's been like that since I think what was it 2004 or 2006, whatever. But it's been a long time, and it's been a long time coming. So we need to have that minimum wage needs to be raised. And why is it important for black people? Because, unfortunately, black, brown, yellow, red people are the ones who are, who are the ones that are paid that minimum wage. And it's hard to make ends meet when you are paid on that minimum wage. It's just not, good. And the reason why most people don't want that minimum wage raised up is because they don't want you to be comfortable. Because if you get comfortable, then they can't take advantage of you. See, the way that capitalism works is that I capitalize off of your off of your misery, so to speak. We'll just put it down like that, right? So the rich people capitalize off of poor people, and et cetera, et cetera. The government basically capitalizes off of the middle class. Okay, so they charge, but if you don't have any money, okay, so let's look at a scenario. Say for instance you're making 725, which I think is like 200. I think it came down to like $260 a week. Then it gets taxed because you got an income tax, or you got a tax for your wages or whatever. So you're really like, like $200 $200 a week. That's basically where you're at. And then once you talk about the stuff that you got to take out, because no matter what you think, everything is that you can't avoid is a tax. Even gas, stuff like gas, utilities, stuff like that. Those are really taxes, even though we don't call them taxes. But if you don't pay them, then what happens? You don't have it. You have to do without. So we have to realize that all of these things, basically go hand in hand. But in the meantime, the 35% tax cut that wealthy people or wealthy corporations and all that they enjoyed 4 years ago, we need to that has to be done away with. And I'm not saying completely done away with, but some of that money needs to go back. And it was just like I was telling y'all, economics, from an economic standpoint, if you take money from someplace, then it's got to come from someplace else, and someplace is going to be at a deficit once it's done, once it's all said and done. So we got to make sure that we know what we're doing when it comes down to the money. And so black folks, we need to get involved. So these are things that we need to be active in, not just the police brutality or law, the reformation of laws and stuff. The George Floyd law got passed, but that's just one aspect. There are so many aspects. And so what I encourage everybody to do is to get in a little niche that you like, and then help whoever it is that's in that niche try to fight it. That's what we need. That's what we need at this point. It's all right to be cheerleaders, and it's all right to say, yeah, they did this to us and they did that to us. But change is only going to come with work and with action. If we don't take action, if we don't work at certain things, then nothing is never going to change. Because the people, once again, your oppressor is not trying to change their ways. Let me repeat, your oppressor is not trying to change their ways. So all of these other things that have been put on the back burner in the past, they need to be brought up. All of these, and then the other thing is, like Mitch McConnell, there needs to be a concerted effort by the people in his state to get him out of office. To get him out of office. He's like the main pain in your side, It's just and we've let this stuff go on, and I've mentioned people like Jesse Helms and Strom Thurmond and people like that. They held seats in Congress for a lifetime. For a lifetime. And that's another reason why term limits need to be enacted. Maybe a 3-term limit. That's it. And then get somebody new, get somebody else, because the government, what happens is the government becomes stagnant. And we've seen the whole thing with McConnell. McConnell has literally became a multi-millionaire. He has gained $250 million being in Congress and oppressing the people. So you got to think about that. Other people need to step up. We also need to get more people running for office. Just and it don't take much, but we gotta start playing the game. We have to start playing the game. If we don't start playing the game, we don't really deserve anything. We don't deserve anything if we don't play the game. Why do we deserve anything when we're just sitting back complaining. And see, that's the thing. We get in this thing. Well, Obama didn't do nothing for us, but what did you do to help Obama or to urge Obama to do anything? The same thing is with Biden. We expect to elect somebody and then sit back and nothing happen, and nothing happens, and that's not the way it works. It just is not the way it works. You have to put in. We have to put in work. We got to put in time and effort in order to get these things to change. We got the people now that will listen to us and whose ear that you have, and stop believing the hype. We are not the minority. And I've been saying that for years. We are not the minority. We are the majority. We are the majority of consumers. We are the majority. All of that. Why do you think the NBA and the NFL and all these? Why do you think they're going after y'all? Because they don't want to lose you as a customer. Because they know if all black people stop watching football and stop watching basketball, I mean, what would they have? Even and now you see, what are they doing? They're giving the and it's still compartmentalizing black people. Why? Because even with that, they got the people that go to college. See, they want blacks to go to college. That's why the HBCU stuff is prevalent right now. Because they know black people that go to college have what? They got money. But they're not looking at all black people, and even some of these things that I look at on the internet, and they talking about this. Even Boyce Watkins talks about intelligent black people. That's all. They're not thinking about all black people, but the majority of black people is made up of all kinds of people. We are super diverse. And even those people that may not have. That's why I saw a post and we were talking about, look, get people back to having vocational training, being carpenters and plumbers and bricklayers and all of that kind of stuff. Because that stuff pays money too. But we've gone and we've abandoned those type of things, and we don't need to abandon them right now. We really don't. But if you notice, you see, you gotta look between. You gotta be smart. You gotta be wise. The reason why all of this stuff, 3 HBCU grads are reffing the NBA All-Star game. Why? Because that's the way that they get that. That's the way that they're going to try to pull us in. That's the way they're trying to get us. See, people, when it comes from on top, most stuff is not done just blindly or just because. They have an ulterior motive behind most things that are done and most things that go on. It's just true. And it's not saying none of these people are evil or they're bad or anything like that, but what do they want? They want your money. Just like, and I mentioned like the Starbucks controversy in Philadelphia that time when they started talking to them guy and tried to kick the guys out, and as soon as they found out, they closed Starbucks down for diversity training. Why? Because black people drink a lot of Starbucks. Don't get the game twisted. The same thing. Why do you think the Colin Kaepernick stuff was such a big deal? And why do you think they did everything? Why do you think they brought Jay-Z in? Jay-Z was brought in to what? To pacify us. Because they know that there's a certain amount of people, they won't read, they won't research, they won't do anything, but they'll just see Jay-Z's face. Same thing with Ice Cube and everything else, because they know that those are the people, the Pied Pipers, that can pull you in so that they can continue to take advantage of you and take your money. That's what it is. Anyway, fastest 15 minutes is up. I promise tomorrow I will get to the whole thing about why I switched from Christianity to Kemetic spirituality. Anyway, love you. Hit the like button, subscribe button, all the buttons, but most of all, hit the love button.